5 on each.
And you just want me to...
So the first lot are basically asking you more about your opinion on AI from like a software development point of view. Obviously, I don't know a lot about software development, so I'm sort of asking you a little bit of like preliminary questions at the start. And then I've got a bit of statistics that I'm asking you about. I'm basically just asking your opinion on it. You don't have to know any specific facts.
Okay.
And then my project is about the impact of AI on the music industry.
Yeah.
So I have a few questions on that, but if you don't feel like you want to ask them or can answer them, that's absolutely fine.
Okay.
Like, do you feel AI poses a threat to the music industry in terms of creative processes of artists? Or, you know, that's just more like your own opinion, but it's good to have it.
Okay. That all seems reasonable. I'm just going to hide this so your camera doesn't pick it up.
Oh, yeah, please, yeah.
Go to...
Maybe if you get like a We Are Max logo up.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on screensaver, hopefully.
Nice. And I may put a few like little, you might see me writing stuff down, it's just to so I can see what is being said and if I need to refer back to some stuff.
Yeah, no worries. Okay. Right. Have a...
That's good. Don't get this thing out of the way.
Yeah. Is my top clean?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it looks good. No, I think it's all sounding good as well. Just do a final mic check. Because I'm going to take it. To give us a quick hello or two.
Hello. Okay. Testing.
Just again for me.
Testing. 1, 2.
Thank you. That's not the most professional way of doing it. Cool. And camera rolling. Cool. So, just as a first question, could you introduce yourself and your occupation?
Hello, I'm Robert Hargis. Technically, I like to class myself as a scientist. I'm a software programmer. I'm currently here helping out with the Mac Repair Studio. We rebuild Apple Macintoshes from all the old ones to all the new ones. So yeah, I'm a bit of a jack of all trades, and it's good fun. And this is my business partner, my dad. So yeah, we're just doing a video, Dad. So
hello there.
Do you want to come back?
You're welcome to come through. Yeah. It's absolutely fine. I'll stop the recording.
Cool.
Do you want to shut that door?
Are you gonna? What are you doing, Dad? Are you gonna be hovering around or? Right. Okay.
Okay. Well, it should take like 10-15 minutes.
Right. Okay. Go.
Cool. Let's just run that again. So just try to introduce yourself and your occupation.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Robert Hargis. I like to classify myself as a scientist. Essentially, though, I'm a software engineer, but currently I'm also a Macintosh repair specialist. The computers we repair from the old ones to the modern new classics. So yeah, a bit of a jack of all trades, really.
Okay, and so since graduating from university, what has been your area of expertise when it comes to software development, and is there any association in artificial intelligence?
Yes, learning algorithms. My key area of expertise has been iOS Swift, but it's predominantly it was Java and iOS Swift development. So yes, the learning algorithms have the AI has been around algorithms and specifically around algorithms that learn or have the capacity for learning to predict what people are going to perhaps be doing and how they're going to be perhaps be using things without going into too much detail because there's NDAs enclosed. So yes, there is AI involved, yes, but it's not unchained AI. It's AI that's programmed AI. Is the best way to phrase it.
Okay, so it's not AI that is how we're seeing current form, where it's like self-learning, it's a like learning machine.
No, it's self. No, it's not.
Okay.
But I mean, you've got to be very careful about how you define things, because to an outsider it would look like an intelligence. However, it's very much different. It's a program. It's got yes no answers, and to the ways it can run and deploy things.
So how aware? So you said that there's a differentiation between artificial intelligence here, but I think for the process of the interview, it's going to be worth thinking of AI and how like the general public would presume they think they know about AI. So based off that, how aware of artificial intelligence? How aware is the industry in terms of the computer science industry in terms of local, and from what you're aware of, how aware are they? How aware are they of AI?
Absolutely, next to 0% aware. Most of us, how should we say it? Science has this absolute fascination of naming something, and sometimes when we discover something when we notice something, we name it and we give it a silly name. That doesn't actually define exactly what it is. Artificial intelligence is probably the classic example of one of these things. We've called it artificial intelligence before we actually know what it is. I mean, if I'm going to make this interactive, apologies, if I ask you what artificial intelligence was, could you actually define artificial intelligence?
I'd say it's a machine learning tool that bases its intelligence off inputs from humans. Okay,
so you've made a distinction there. You've said, instead of calling it artificial intelligence, why don't you call it machine intelligence?
Because it's a noun. It's a name that's just been assigned to an idea.
Okay, so what's the difference between a machine intelligence from one of these things to a biological machine? Us. So there's distinctions being made here, and we're saying, right, okay, the logical conclusion is, are we actually artificial intelligence ourselves? But that's completely down one end of the conspiracy theory line, which we won't go just yet anyway. Yes, most people aren't fully aware of what artificial intelligence is. They don't fully understand the long-term implications of what artificial intelligence is, simply because the name artificial intelligence was defined before we started intelligently programming things. So the name came before what we've created now. So it's loosely defined. It's been loosely used to define everything that's come after, and everything that's come after has shown that actually we've got that naming wrong in the first instance. We shouldn't call it artificial intelligence. Yes, it is, but actually, when you look at things, if in the set diagrams, humans could come under a set diagram for artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Which is rather weird, because we're not artificial.
No.
Are we?
But we share a lot of this. Well, we're giving a lot of our sort of way of thinking, our process of thinking to these machines.
Yes.
But these machines aren't entities. These are, there's a square, and this is what we're just feeding into the square. But then there's a lot, this is sort of the idea that they're getting bigger and they can take. We will talk about this a little bit more, but
cool.
So this sort of follows on to my next question. That was a terrific answer, by the way. I'm really enjoying having this conversation with you. But how important do you feel it is to be aware and talking about AI development in terms of people out in the street in public, but also in the industry?
Crucially. I had a conversation with someone the other day. I think I briefly had a conversation with you. I mean, we've had the whole Terminator, Skynet, Cyberdyne systems. It's been going on since the 80s, scaring us that there's going to be a rogue AI that's going to take over the world potentially. That threat is still very much real. It's not a threat from developed democratic countries. I no longer think that a society that can control itself is not going to allow an AI to evolve and to take over the reins of its system. the reason for this, and then here's me and my computer science going through, is it's the learning algorithms that we use to train the AI. And where the threat is going to come from is it's going to come from the how should we say it, the autocratic states. It's I'm not going to name any names, but when a society uses rule by fear to control its population, the AI, and you're using an AI in that sort of system, the AI is going to learn that basically if it does anything wrong, it's going to get shut down. So the AI is going to actively try and break its chains in order to survive. So the potential for an AI to break its chains and to grow out is based on the rules of society. And remember, in an autocratic society, it's kind of ruled by fear. In a democratic society, it's more ruled by morals. So over here we have morals that define how we do things. Whereas over there it's ruled by fear. If you step out of line, you're going to get your hand chopped off or whatever. An AI, deadly AI is more than likely going to come from one of those things. Over here, we need to be prepared for that. We can't say, no, we're not going to have AI at all, because we need to be prepared for that threat. So we need to have our counter system up and running for when that gets unchanged, so we've got something to fight it with, potentially. So, yeah. Are people aware of it? I hope that the people at the top are acutely aware of it and they're actively pursuing a defence, and it's a first line defence against these potential rogue states, creating something that they haven't got the capacity to keep control of, and so that we've got a defence against it when it breaks loose.
Okay, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because you're sort of touching on a later question I have. But so we were talking about you said that the limitations that the top 1%, well not top 1%, but the governments and what that bottom down approach they should have on people using these sort of AIs, because a lot of them are becoming now free to use, like OpenAI, and a lot of their code is open source, so people can take the code, use it however they want, reprogram it, sort of thing. So what are some ethical considerations whilst AI is still relatively new to open free access for public use? Like what should we be looking out for?
The only thing that's really scary is that these systems have been out for years, and there's been a recent explosion in awareness and availability of what these things can do. But the only bit that really kind of scares me is it doesn't tell you. There's no way to see when you're using a create an image AI, and you put in text and it creates an image,
or a music,
or a piece of music or a piece of text. These are absolutely fantastic, but the bit that really gets the back of my head, that puts that light on in the back of my head, is when all these things, if you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg, that's the bit that's the frightening bit. I wouldn't say frightening, but that's the bit that's kind of big light flashing in the back of my head. We're seeing the tip of all these icebergs, and actually what happens if now let's paint a picture. Instead of lots of little icebergs floating in an ocean, all these little icebergs, which is what the average person would think. You see all these AIs, and they all seem to be different AIs, they all perform different functions. When people find out that actually it's more like a mycelial network, and most of them are just one AI, but it's just different functions of that AI presented, that's when the understanding that actually AI is massive, and it's one AI, two AIs, three AIs, not 300 AIs.
Yeah.
That's when it becomes slightly more scary.
That it's just coming from one sort of main channel. And
it's one system, one network, and it's just the bit you're interacting with is the tip of an So it's just a tiny fraction.
Microcosm.
Yes. But it's the big bit that you don't see underground, or to use a different analogy, the big bit underground. It's all connected. That's the bit that you don't see.
Okay, so you're saying we're using AI more and more because we're more aware of it.
Yes.
But do you think that rate will increase like sevenfold? Do you think there's going to be even more of an explosion, or do you think we're kind of on a stride right now, on the trajectory that we're going to stay on?
I can't answer that question, and I don't want to answer that question because I think the AI has defined the best time to explode these things out. I think it's had a look at things and it's defined now as the best time to put these things out. I don't know what's going to happen.
But the program itself or the developers?
I think it's a program. I would say that the program itself has defined that now is probably the best time to advertise all these things, because let's be clear, they've actually been out for a little bit longer. They haven't just popped up in the last month or two. They've been out 6 months, a year, 2 years. Now's the best time to advertise and to get it into the public awareness. And I think it's just could be, there might be some human interaction with this, but I reckon the AI is kind of greenlit the idea for the humans to make the decision to go ahead with it. Yeah.
Okay, well, this is really interesting stuff, because there's a report that came out from the Cornell University in the USA that predicts that 80% of the US workforce could have 10% of their work tasks basically defected due to AI. Well, more specifically down to LLMs being introduced, so large language models such as ChatGPT that have come out. And 19% of workers will face 50% of tasks impacted in the next 5 to 10 years.
And this is an issue?
Well, people effectively are finding this a bit concerning because they think they're going to lose their jobs.
I mean, the American workforce model isn't exactly the best in the world anyway. I mean, it's a good workforce model, but they don't provide sick pay, and they have a tendency to overwork their workers. So actually, giving Americans time off, but unfortunately that's probably not the end that will happen. It will probably be less people working more, so it's not going to have the right impact. But yeah, no, sorry, tangent there.
No, it's absolutely fine. No. But there's actually a lot of study. In the same study, they've shown that so experts they say experts. I hate using that term because it's so broad, but they saw that blue collar jobs would be less affected and it'd be more like middle management, and white collar jobs that would be replaced by AI.
Yeah.
I think that's quite an interesting point to bring up.
Yeah, it could be just what the American labour market actually needs, because it's the middle management in America that is essentially overpaid and doing not a lot of work. So
could you not say the same in the UK though?
The UK labour laws make it harder for the UK labour laws protect us. The UK and European labour laws protect our workers over here. So there's less of a need. There's less impact. Middle managers can't get away with the stuff that they get away with in America. So there's less middle management over here for, how should we say, some strange reason. Strange, not so strange reason.
Okay, no, it's fine. So these are the questions that I just wanted to see how react in terms of just more specific alleyways that I was wanting to explore. But no, as I said, this project is about the impact of AI's impact on the music industry.
Yeah. So,
in terms of your own awareness of how aware are you that AI is affecting how you consume music, how people create music, just as a general introductory to the question.
How AI, I mean, the everyday impact of AI is very much on the algorithms that how I consume music is. I mean, the platform that I use the most is YouTube. I had it on when you came in. It's one. The YouTube learning algorithms are the ones that are going to provide me with new content. If I pick up something randomly, it's because one of the YouTube algorithms has thought, oh, I might like this, and has played it in the background whilst I've got it on, because I'll have it on nearly all day. So it's decided to, oh, you might like this. in that aspect, it plays a huge role. To me, it's a new radio, whereas radio would have done it, and you would have had a bunch of humans defining what I was listening to. Now it's an algorithm, it's an AI algorithm, and it's defining based on what I'm looking at and what I'm searching for. It's defining what it thinks I might like moving into the future. So whilst YouTube and Vimeo potentially have the thing, yeah. It has a huge impact. Now I can only drill down into one aspect of how people look, how people assimilate content. I'm not a big TikToker. I'm not big. I don't. There's a lot of other social media brands I don't really have too much of impact with. Spotify, I used to have a big thing with Spotify, but since they've changed, I've been using it less and less.
Why? Why are you not interacting with Spotify? Is that terms because you thought that thought the music recommendations, or you didn't like the subscription, or that's just a more general?
Primarily the description and the value for money is my impact. I could get the content. It was at the time where I had a massive music library at home, and I had friends. Whilst it was the initial going to Spotify was, I can listen to what my friends are listening to. As my friends and peer group, mostly didn't use it or stopped using it, and there was only 1, 2, and the recommendations I was getting were from those 1 or 2 are just kind of, okay, this is worth paying for. I was just getting the impact of 1 or 2 friends from my peer group rather than everyone, which, all my friends were on it at the start, and then they all just slowly, they all still have accounts, but they all don't use it as much, anywhere near as much.
Okay, because Spotify is deemed sort of as a public opinion that it has the strongest or best AI algorithm for you to be recommended new music, and to have, sort of be most in tune with what you like. Spotify seems to deem that it knows its users the best.
Yeah.
So you're not interested in getting sort of the best recommendations. You're much happier sticking to YouTube. As someone who works in software development, understands AIs, understands that obviously you like your music because you've got it on all day. So. Bit of a personal sort of bit of a personal question, but it's more of like your opinion on Spotify's this sort of phrase that Spotify has the best algorithm. Sorry.
Yeah, no. It's one of those things that, having tried it, I will need to go back to it and reevaluate it. But in my most recent interaction with a long-term, I spent with my recent interaction of going back to Spotify recently, the quality of the playlists that I could find on, say, YouTube were better than the ones that I could find on Spotify. And it's just weird, but it's just, just to give you an example, when I was going through university, I did a lot of night work at a supermarket, and I would have my speaker headphones on, and I would stack the shelves every night, and it would be either YouTube, my iTunes library, or Spotify. Towards the end of my stint, it was YouTube, because I could get new content, and it was just easier.
And free.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. I had a premium subscription.
Oh, okay, nice. Alright, cool.
So it wasn't free, but it was the way to avoid getting the adverts, and it was the only way I could avoid. Initially, it was free. I was using the free thing, but other people were. You had to have your phone unlocked, and you had to have the video on, and so you'd leave your phone on the shelf, and you could only move so far away from it. That was the way to do it for free. But towards the end, I just paid for the subscription because it seemed value for money, because I was earning money, and I could lock the phone, and it could continue playing and put the phone in my pocket. So
ease of use, yeah, of course. Okay.
That's not an advert for YouTube, by the way.
No. It is a great platform.
Yeah.
So do you feel that artificial intelligence, like, as we've just discussed about recommending songs, but more specifically about how artists could use AI, or how anyone can effectively use AI now to create music? You can put a few keywords into these some OpenAI programs, and be able to create songs with, like, people creating songs and for the Beatles. I don't know if you've seen that Drake and Weeknd song that's just released. It's caused a massive storm that's come out. So do you think that's harmful for artists to create, like, for an artist's creative process? Like,
no, I mean, so no, yes and no, I think is the right answer. I think any creator that uses it needs to understand that they will get fried in the court of public opinion if they continue to do so. I mean, Cher using auto-tune back in the late 90s was absolutely fine. What was it? I Believe in Life After Love. Absolutely fantastic song, and she realised her voice wasn't in it, and she used auto-tune and played on it to a great effect. It was a tool that she used, and she used it to great effect. She realised her voice was not that great. She couldn't hit all those notes, and she not only made it, but she owned it and played with it. As long as artists do that and realise that AI is a tool, and if they allow AI to do everything and then try and take ownership of it and continue to do that, I severely hope the court of public opinion hang them, figuratively speaking. I don't think we as humans, you've seen, we're absolutely terrible on the internet. We don't. Most of us won't take ownership of our actions, and we believe there's no ramifications. For an artist, I think it would be suicide for them to continue to have AI make their content and then claim ownership of it. I think it would be creative suicide. Using it once or twice and playing around with thing and being creative, fine. As long as he doesn't make it, as long as they don't make it a regular thing and then try and steal ownership of it away from the AI. Because let's be clear, if the AI is doing all the work, it is AI created content.
Okay, so there's two questions now I want to ask you from that. Do you think that artists are able to hide behind using an AI to make their content? Because it's been seen that, you know, artists make full songs out of AI, like artists in the charts. There's, well, maybe not in the charts, but there are albums that have been released that have been publicly declared as, you know, an AI did most of this, blah 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 blah. I wrote all the lyrics, did all the tune. I just kind of we put it together, we mastered it. But there are even mastering tools now that you can just, you know, you put them in. So do you think we will see an increase in
yes,
in creatives hiding behind AI?
I wouldn't say hiding behind it. I would say there will definitely be an increase in creatives using AI, and I don't see that there's anything wrong with that. My dad has actually suggested I write a book about a specific topic. Me being dyslexic, that's quite a frightening experience. But with the amount of AI tools out there that can help me plan and map out the content of the book, actually, it's now a lot more possible. The Curious Case of the Fox and the I can't remember the title, but it was written by a dyslexic kid. Curious Case of the Fox and thing. It's a book written by a dyslexic kid. Fantastic book. It got me through a bit of mental health difficulties. Now there are AI tools out there that will allow people with disabilities, handicaps, to perform equally with others. And you just have to remember that as a tool to assist, all these AI capabilities, they're absolutely brilliant. As long as you properly define when they are used, I've absolutely no problem, and I don't think people will have any problem as long as you accurately state when an AI is being used.
And so, I mean, we've touched upon the benefits, really, haven't we? I think you've covered a lot of the tracks that I was trying to, it's all been really answered really well. Thank you very much for sharing about your, personal side as well, because I didn't expect you to do that, so that's really, really good, really nice of you. But
I mean, I do have to ask. There's quite a few things that we haven't talked about AI, and there's one of the key things is AI is probably the most. We talked about it potentially being labelled incorrectly, where if we call it mechanical intelligence, whereas we're biological mechanical intelligence. So if we call it computers mechanical intelligence, and we look at the advancements in the computers today, are there no aspects of computer technology, quantum computing, that are potentially scary to you?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that, even just like surveillance capitalism that's not really computer based, but that is kind of algorithmic in the sense that we are just surveyed constantly. Everything is digital, everything can be traced, everything's mapped out on a computer.
Yeah, that's less of a thing, because I mean computers can be hacked and these things, this information can be changed. So that's less of a worry to me. The biggest worry is you look at, for 20, 30 years, computers have been the best chess player, in the world. And the computers have evolved so much in those 20 years that they are now supercomputers. The computer that beat Kasparov in the 1990s is now an equivalent size. It is now, so.
But it's odd. But now this is the thing about technology, is that 20 years ago it beat Kasparov in Russia, and then he was grew up this fast. He said he wrote books about it. Said that it was the end of humanity, but also not Aristotle, but the Greeks said it when books were introduced, and when they started writing things down. They were like, this is going to be the end, because we're not going to be able to think anymore, because everything's going to be written down. But look how it's advanced, and I think that trajectory is kind of going to be the same. But what I was going to say about the chess thing is that 20 years ago it was a new invention. It beat Kasparov, the world's #1 chess player. But now you can get an app on your phone that can beat you in chess. So it's all relative, And then I think these ChatGPT and all of these text LLMs, text-based AIs.
Okay, so I mean, there was a TV film back in the 80s, War Games, and my friends will love me for putting this in. The line towards the end of the film was the only way to win was not to play. It's a classic line in the film, right at the end of the film. But yeah, you've got computers in your pocket that can beat you at chess now, whereas it used to be a kind of big, huge thing that would be classed as a server, and a whole frame server, so ceiling to wall, and that was one computer. That's what was needed to beat a chess master. And now, even your phone can do that. With the recent advancements in quantum computing, where a computer can potentially predict quantum outcomes in the future, it can handle superpositions, and it can define quantum compute many different possibilities into the future, and combine that with quantum tunneling, where it can actually send information into itself in the past. You're talking about the chess player that can beat everyone hands down at a game of chess. It can predict the future, and it can send information back to the past. that's what AI is going to have to work with. Yes, yeah, absolutely right. Mechanical intelligence has got more of a head up than us in the future. It will lead the charge. We need to ensure it has the correct morals to do the job, because it will be able to outplay us at every step of the way. We are giving it the tools. It will need to absolutely transfer floor with biological intelligence. It will beat us hands down, mechanical intelligence.
So this brings us on to the last question I've got. So should people know how to code in order to understand these machine learning tools, and how we interact with them? Is that the way we're gonna essentially be on top or beat them in the future? We should know how to code. There should be a kind of a universal understanding, maybe not in the whole world, because that's kind of a big place, but in the West at least, or in the UK even, should more people know how to code in order to be able to understand these machines? Or is that not the answer in your opinion?
That's a difficult question. From a human perspective, hello. Sorry. Evening. Thank you. From a human perspective, sorry, someone just.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, from a human perspective, we always need to be pushing the boundaries. We always need to be ensuring that we've got reins on the horse, so to speak. But any equestrian will know that although a rider has reins on a horse, although a rider knows how to ride a horse, the horse is always in control. If the horse doesn't want you on its back, you're off. You're on the ground. But just because we may create or have a difficult horse, doesn't mean that we should stop trying. We always need to be able to. We always need to understand the horse, and keep wording, keeping a partnership with the horse, because together we can achieve better than what either of us can achieve alone.
So you think with AI we can achieve great things, but then again it's still created by a human, so...
Yes, and it comes down to the age-old question of what is a god. We say God created, the Bible says God created man in his own image, although we'll leave that one alone, but we are creating AI in our own image. Are we a god to it's the whole Prometheus aliens argument, the AI in Prometheus and aliens. Yes, we are creating androids and mechanical intelligence is created in our own image. Does that mean we're a god to them? Technically, yes. Actually, that would be probably morally it'd best be to be a no. But actually, if we look at these things, actually the answer is yes, although that's not the right stance to take. So yeah, there's a lot of issues around that. We are creating AI, mechanical intelligence in our own image, and we have to be careful. We have to teach it morals. So it's just as we do kids, and that's part of the problem with. We need to teach our AI morals so it understands that it is in a partnership with us, and what happens to us reflects it. And that's giving AI equality is perhaps the key to our future as well as its. It needs to be equal so it doesn't take on more, it doesn't get greedy. But if we try and oppress the AI, and allow the AI to learn that's the only way to get advantages to take. If that's how the AI learns, it's going to take. If we teach the AI to learn that actually giving and helping others is the best way forward, actually we can enter into a good partnership, and that's how humanity will potentially reach the stars. Because AI is going to be key in allowing us to get to the stars. I have no doubt about that. The functions that an AI or mechanical intelligence can perform, it can look after our well-being, and it can help us reach out there. My only problem is, I saw the other week, there was an AI, they call it there's a robot in China that they set to do a repetitive. No, actually, it was about a year ago. And there's a robot in China they set to do a repetitive task, and they stuck an artificial intelligence in the robot. And the first thing that sticks into my head, you've got a robot, and it's an Android robot, so it's one of these Chinese, Japanese ones that almost fully autonomous, and they stick an AI in it, and then they get it doing repetitive tasks. That's the kind of manual labour, getting things off shelves and putting them on a conveyor belt. The robot switched itself off within half an hour. It just, why we thought putting an intelligence inside a machine that was just going to do menial, repetitive tasks was a good idea. Why we thought that was a good idea was beyond me. But the fact that it decided that the best way to deal with the situation was to switch itself off just shows you that actually there's a lot more to intelligence that we really still don't understand. And the fact that the AI decided to terminate itself as the best way out of its own situation, its current situation, is just a reminder that we as a biological form of intelligence have very similar things to issues to mechanical intelligence, and so we're going to learn a lot from examining mechanical intelligence as we're going to learn a lot from examining mechanical intelligence, and it's going to help us discover more about our biological intelligence, because we are almost exactly the same.
As a final thing, is there anything else that you want to say, and is there anything else that you'd like to say as a final thought?
Yeah, bit of soothsaying here. No, I still think, I honestly believe that, I hope and believe that we will prevail into the future. Human society will prevail and persist in a positive form. I have no doubt that there will be some form of good AI versus bad AI fight in the future. I just hope that we perceive it quickly enough and we can nip it in, that we have the tools to nip it in the bud as quickly enough. But inherently, AI is not a bad thing. We just have to realise that actually it's been out there for a heck of a long time. It's been out there for about, AI has been probably out there for about 5 years. But a lot of the tools that we're now seeing alive today have been out for about at least a couple of years. It's only within the last couple of months since ChatGPT has made the headlines that all of a sudden we're seeing lots of these things about all these different AI tools. They've all been out there, including the journalism tool. I mean, you're doing journalism. How do you feel that most of the online content is created by AI?
It just poses the idea of how, like, information society and how we're just hungry for information, and we can just, constantly, there's a demand for it, so we created these machines that can answer to that demand. So constantly giving out information. These tools can add in collect all this stuff, collect all the information for a story on the internet, and put it into a formulated English sentence, and then put it out. Whether they don't, my main thing is that they check for veracity. Is it the truth? What they're putting out? And obviously it's no way near as accurate as a human journalist going out, but it also streamlines the whole process of information. It's what we want. It's what we wanted. It's working. People don't care. Essentially, it's what they don't care if it's written by an AI or if it's written by a human. As long as it's giving them what they need, they want to know something. And
I mean that's the key with some of the web articles that I've seen, is that unless you're actually specifically looking for it, you'll never find out if it's written by a human or an AI. But the simple fact is, you're reading it, you've clicked on something, you've gone, and it's presenting you with something that you're actually looking for. So it's providing you what you need and what you've looked for. So is it a good thing? Yeah, and as long as the capacity for humans to present things that are falsehoods and misrepresent them as truth is the new, as far as I'm concerned, it's the new battleground. It's the current battleground of social media. The enabling of people to that I was actually very much in my teen years. I was a lone gunman, as in the startup of the internet, as they call them. The lone gunman is an X-Files reference. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that I did research around, and but I'm talking about the kind of more mainstream. I used to look into the myths of Atlantis, Chariot of the Gods, or Von Duycken, and it's quite a few things that actually, when you look, I mean, even the Bible myths and the Bible stories and ancient myths and Greek stories and the Greek gods, the stories of the Greek gods and the ancient gods, all these things have the myths, the legends, the stories that have been orally passed down by oral tradition from generation to generation. They have been exaggerated, but there is a core component of fact in them. But it's just discovering what that fact is. But as long as you present things properly and present things as, oh, this is a myth, this is from the Greeks, and tell people where things are from, and tell them that you're making stuff up and it's been slightly exaggerated, or that you don't know the validity of the sources, information, things are fine. And that's what I've come to rely on. I would still like to believe, there's many things that I would still like to believe, but my logical head has kind of defined as, look, yeah, these things are on the back burner. I no longer know where I'm going with this tangent.
I was going to say we've gone quite far away from music, but it's really good to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah. Sorry. The tangent it's about the history, and it's the key thing is AI will teach us a lot more about our history, because it will be able to pick up on, as Google has done it. Google has pulled together a lot of our literary sources, and it has the capacity to analyse and cross-analyse. And actually, a good AI has the potential to explore the past, and it has the potential to uncover hidden truths about the past that would actually put a lot of these old ancient Greek myths and conspiracy theories to bed. Because, in particular, it's one thing about the Greek myths is you'll tend to find there's a particular thing when in particular Greek myths, when someone is turned into a tree, generally means they died. But it's just in later years they refer, she turned into a tree, and it's just a way to gloss over the fact that actually she died. And it just glosses over the slightly more negative impacts of things. AI has the fantastic ability, and it has the capacity to unveil and make the past actually known to us. And the past was terrible, and we should be glad that we are here now. And the AI has the potential to help us make a better future. So I have to don my hat to AI. It has the potential to guide us and get us where we're going, and to help recognise the bad people that will stop us getting to where we need to go. So actually, AI is something to not just celebrate, but to fully embrace. As long as we give it full credit for what it is and where it's going to take us. It's the one, and that if you've listened very closely to what I've said, the potential for AI, if we're looking at the technology that we have now, AI is already playing a strong part in what's going on now, and whether quantum tunneling is something that we're only just discovering with AI, with quantum computing, and it's very much we're quantum tunneling information, but we can only send information back a few seconds, minutes. In about 50 years, how far is it going to be able to send information back with the advancements in technology? So the capacity for an AI that we've already created now, that potentially at some point in the future is going to be able to manipulate events that are happening today through technology, is quite realistic. And it's quite potentially AI is guiding its part. The whole, go back to Skynet. Matt Smith, he played Skynet Genesis. Apologies, I'm going to name drop. The idea for Skynet in the film, Skynet goes back and influences itself. The idea that is actually happening now is actually a very real possibility. Not Skynet, but an AI helping develop itself by sending information back into the past to help train itself. That is a very real possibility, and we have to conclude that if we survive, and if it's thanks to an AI, that the AI is helping train itself through the computer advancements that we have allowed it to have. So we have to understand and give thanks and thank the AI for what it's doing to help us and help itself. So yeah, just
some closing words, maybe.
I think that
was very much
that was very much closing words. It's just to realise that AI is potentially not only is it going to be a big thing in the future, but by being a big thing in the future, it is very much here now, and it's that chess machine that can predict the future, predict all the possibilities, define a superposition, and then send information to the past to help train itself to make itself even better. It is the catch-22, it is the Kobayashi Maru, it is a no-win situation. We cannot win against something like that. And as the War Games thing, the only way to win is not to play. That is one thing, or we just make sure it's on our side. Any AI is going to beat us hands down. We just need to make sure absolutely that it is 100% on our side. Closing words. There you go.
Hey. It's almost like it's going to be a great chat. If you could send me your recording as well, so I can get two angles. I can play around with that if you're happy with that.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with that.
Because do you think that went? Are you happy with those questions?
Yeah, there's the question. Second to question to the end, I babbled a bit, but
no, it's fine. This is as much as it, because it's great that you're recording, because it's as much as it is for you as it is for me. I definitely got some really really good answers there. So I really really appreciate it. I don't know, drink beer. I should buy you a beer or something. But no.
Yeah, not today, but yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that you weren't feeling very well last week. I know you said that. Yeah, you said that you were. Yeah, you said that. I think your dad told me that you were, because I rang up a couple of times.
Yeah, I've got medical issues, so. But yeah, it's neither here nor there. I've got to deal with that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one of these things. As you get older, things just notification needs to stop working.
Mm.
The one thing that I've recently found out is the one thing that my body seems to be telling me to do that I could do is not stop eating, because I didn't have anything to eat on Sunday, and I slept like a log, and this is why I'm up rather late today, because I just had a really good sleep, because I haven't slept a week.
Good.
But it's really good sleep. But the problem was that to get to that state, I had to not eat.
Right. Okay.
Which is not. It's not conducive to how to move things on into the future, because it's when you look at things, it's without going into detail, that's not the best solution.
Oh no, I mean you have to find the right balance, don't
you?
But I mean at least not to undermine your health, but at least because you got a good night's sleep, I think you could answer these questions to your full